YouTube family, what's good with you? It's your boy 2A in LA, and as always, fam, anything I say in this episode, prior episodes, and future episodes is just my personal opinion. Don't take it as fact. Don't take it as law. Always do your own homework and come up with your own conclusions. Right about now, fam, I should go ahead and tap that like button for your boy. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Come on in. You can join the congregation by smashing that subscribe button and requesting all post notifications. And if you are an existing supporter of this channel, fam, I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. You are the reason this channel is anything. All right, fam, let's get this episode started. So look, fam, I got my first Noveske like towards the end of last year, if memory serves me correct. And I fell in love, fam. I fell in love. I hooked up that build, something sexy. And as a matter of fact, why don't I let you check out that build right off the rip. All right, fam, check out your boy's Noveske Diplomat. Sheridan 223556. What I'm gonna need you to do, fam, is stop playing with your boy, fam. This little shorty is a beast. We upgraded it with that cherry bomb muzzle brake. We added the kind of the rail scales on there. You got that cloud defense with the laser speed. EOTech sitting on a Unity riser. Of course, we added the VC grips and we Cerakoted everything, and that Olden Works brace, fam. I feel like I did my thing on this one, right? So when I picked this one up, I was like, okay, I gotta get another one in my collection. And I kept like going back and forth. Should I get a long gun? Should I get another shorty? They make some incredible PCCs. Which way should I go? And while I was like having that internal debate, all of a sudden, I got an opportunity to pick up the Noveske Space Creep, which is their 9mm PC, their little shorty. And these are hard to come by, fam. You don't see them often. And when you do, they get scooped up. So I jumped on it. I jumped on it, and then, you know, I made it do what it do. So let me let you check out your boy 2A in LA's Noveske Creep. All right, fam, look, again, you got to stop playing with your boy. 'Cause we out here doing it, and doing it well. To quote the philosopher LL Cool J, fam, that bad boy is sick. Again, added that that cherry bomb on the front of it. Did the Cerakoted rail scales to match. We got that Rovivon GL5 Pro. We got that Holoson Ames sitting on a Unity riser. Again, did the VC grips. Added that Olden Works brakes, fam. This gun is sexy. Now, you might have noticed that in the shooting footage of the video, I hadn't got that brace in yet. I still had it out getting Cerakoted, and I wanted to get some rounds through it. But yeah, fam, this bad boy is sexy. Like I said, whoo, stop playing. Yeah, fam, look. I think the gun is aesthetically beautiful. Noveske does such a good job creating guns with great aesthetics. But one of the things that we always say is, right, looking one way is one thing. How does it shoot, right? So why don't we dive into the review? All right, fam, if you haven't seen a 2A in LA review, it's not complicated. 0 is hot garbage. 100 is the best possible gun in the history of mankind. I've never had a gun get a 0, never had a gun get 100, but one can always hold out hope. If you got a gun that comes in kind of 50 to 60, that's a middle of the road gun. Gonna go bang every time, reliable, just as doesn't have a lot of features. And so, you know, that's where it sits. If you got something 60 to 70, maybe that gun has a feature or two that separates it from the middle of the pack. If you've got something like 70 to 80, okay, that gun's a couple deviations above the mean, and you probably have a really, really solid firearm. And if you got something kind of 80 to 90, now you're kind of cooking with gas. Now you're talking about a best-in-class gun, particularly if it hits that kind of 85 to 89 range. And if you got something that's 90 and above, baby, that's grail gun status. All right, fam, first up, fit and finish. Look, fam, Noveske makes such good guns. They go the extra mile relative to their fitment. They make great barrels. I mean, they just do a phenomenal job assembling their rifles and manufacturing their rifles. This thing is a little tank. It is a little tank. I love the fit and finish on the gun. I think they did an extraordinary job. I said the same thing about my Diplomat when I got it. Nothing changes here. Fit and finish. The Noveske Space Creep gets a 14 out of a possible 15. All right, fam. Next up, reliability. Yeah, fam. I put probably at this point about 2,000 rounds through this little bad boy. And let me try to think how many issues I had. How many stovepipes were there? How many missed? None. That would be 0. It was perfection, fam. Noveske has an outstanding reputation for making highly reliable firearms. There was a period of time shortly after the owner passed away where their QC kind of went astray a little bit, and that's understandable, but they have long since corrected that, and they are just producing some very high quality firearms. For reliability, again, we're going to go ahead and give this bad boy a 14 out of a possible 15. All right, fam. Next up, durability. Look, I'll put the specs up there. I meant to put those up there earlier when I was talking about fit and finish, but man, highly durable gun. Like I said, they just make really, really good guns out of really great componentry and materials, internally and externally. Everything is just done right. If you take care of this gun, it is going to take care of you. So for once again, for durability, we're going to give it a 14 out of a possible 15. All right, fam. Next up, trigger. Look, normally, fam, you guys know me. I'm a trigger snob. If you look in the dictionary under trigger snob, you'll see my picture there like, what? That's how I do it. But I gotta say, fam, Noveske makes a good trigger out of the box. If I want to say this is a Trigger Tech trigger, I'll correct it up there if that's incorrect. But it's a solid trigger. For a factory trigger out of the box, it is fine. This is not a competition gun for me. This is a fun range toy plinker. So I did not change out the trigger. You can see there's very little take up there. Just a hair. Clear, defined wall. Crisp, clean break. Reset. Reset. Short reset. So look, fam. Solid. I'll put the pull weight up there so you guys can have that as well. But it's a solid trigger. Is it going to wow you? No. But it is better than adequate. Very feels good when you're running it. You don't even notice anything relative to the trigger. So for trigger, we're going to give it a 13 out of a possible 15. All right, fam. Next up, accuracy. Look, this is a little 9mm short barrel 9mm PCC. This is not meant to go to go to the moon and back, right? This is made for close quarter encounters, and relative to that, I found it to be very accurate for what it is. Like again, like I said, Noveske makes very good barrels. It's got a good trigger. It's got really good balance. I added this Odin Works brace and it just feels really good. So we're going to go ahead for accuracy and give it an 8 out of a possible 10. All right, fam. Next up, ergonomics. Look, there's a reason why I added this Odin Works brace on here. Because it's, in my opinion, they make one of the best pistol braces out there, both aesthetically and feel wise. So you add that. I also added that VZ Grips pistol grip. It grip feels amazing. The gun is really, really, really well balanced. And sometimes that's a trick when you have these little short barrel guns, to find a gun that is really, really well balanced. Like I said, that VZ grip is insane. Look, I think it feels really, really good in terms of how it all comes together. The weight is the weight of the gun also is very easily manageable. So ergonomics, solid. We're going to give this bad boy a 9 out of 10 for ergonomics. All right, fam. Next up, we're going to lump these two categories together. Aftermarket support and maintenance and upkeep. Look, fam, relative to aftermarket support, it's an AR platform. You know what I'm saying? Everything, the world is your oyster. As you can see by the way I have it assembled here, there is no shortage of aftermarket support for the AR platform. So that's a 5 out of 5 off the jump. And like I said, also because it's an AR platform, because it's an AR platform, it is very easy to maintain. Take down, take up, disassembly and reassembly are a breeze. It does have tight tolerances, so that you're gonna have to be prepared for, but that's part of what makes the gun so solid. So look, aftermarket support, maintenance and upkeep, 5 out of 5 in both of those categories. All right, fam. Next up, affordability. So look, fam. Here's the thing. I'll go ahead and I'll put the MSRP up there so you guys can check it out. What I would say is it's an expensive gun. For a blowback, for a direct blowback 9mm PCC, you know, you can get something that fits that definition for significantly less expensive, right? Now, look, is it going to have a good as barrel? Is it going to be as well balanced? Is the fitment going to be as good? Probably not. But, you know, I got it because I love the brand. And as direct blowback PCCs go, this is one of the softest that I've experienced. You know, I have several short barrel PCCs. So, yeah, fam, I love it, love it, love it. But it's not cheap. So look, for affordability, we're going to give it a 2 out of a possible 5. All right, fam. Last but not least, flex. Is Instagram gonna go crazy? Are your boys gonna be like, damn? Are the honeys gonna be like, can I shoot your gun? Yep. Yep. 100%. 100%. Look, fam, the gun was already really attractive. And when you take into what I did by upgrading that muzzle device, adding the rail scales, upgrading the grip, doing the Odin Works brace with that optics package and laser package, light package up there, I just feel all around aesthetically this gun is phenomenal. Noveske does also, I think, an incredible job too with their badging. Just little things. So you got the Noveske here, you've got it on the side there at the little takedown rivets. It's right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's right there. I mean, they're so innovative and creative. I just think from a flex perspective, yeah, this little bad boy has it down pat. So flex, 4 out of 5 points. All right, fam, if you add all that up, you get a whopping 89 out of a possible 100 for the Noveske Space Creep. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Diplomat scored right around there as well. Rightfully so, man. Noveske just does a phenomenal job. They build phenomenal guns. I am very proud now to have 2 Noveskes in my collection. And I'm looking forward to getting this bad boy out to the range a lot more often. So stay tuned for that. All right. That's it for this episode, fam. Until next time, as always, take care of one another and peace.